If you are a Jira administrator in the cloud, then this video is going to completely change your life. And if you've ever have had to copy your settings from your sandbox over to production, and you've had to live through that misery of having to remember everything and every single change that you made in your sandbox, only to recreate it and take up precious, valuable time copying things over, making sure that you didn't forget a single thing, then this video is going to be one of the best videos you ever watch with respect to Jira administration. I'm really excited to talk about Revyz's newest plugin that is just going to completely revolutionize how you do your transitions, migrations, whatever you want to call it, your copies from your sandbox to production. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. Drop a like if you get value out of this video. And most importantly, don't forget to check out the link for this video, as the sponsor of this video is running a very special introductory launch promotion. Check out the details down below. You are not going to want to miss out on this very exclusive pricing that is only available for the next few months. So make sure you click on that link right now.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move.
Let's jump into Jira. Let me show you how to get this app started, and I'm gonna give you a couple of tips to get the setup process a little bit smoother for you. And then I'm gonna show you how this magical tool works, because trust me when I'm telling you, I'm not over exaggerating, but if you're a Jira admin, this is game changing. So let's take a look and let's just walk you through the process. All right, so here we are inside of Jira. This is what the actual dashboard looks like. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna install the plugin. And so we're gonna go over to the marketplace, show you what that looks like. But most importantly, you need to do this twice. You need to install this plugin on your sandbox and in production. Now, this will actually technically work in any site that you have access to, but for this demo and the use case that I would like to really focus on for this video is if you are a Jira Cloud premium subscriber and you have a sandbox where you do all your testing, you try things out over there first, and then you move your things over to production. And that movement, right, that migration, that effect of taking those changes and bringing them over to production, that's the problem we're trying to solve for today. But again, it's going to work for other sites, so you don't have to necessarily go from sandbox to production, but you do need to install a plugin on those various sites. You will need a source and a destination site. So let's look at the Elastic Marketplace and take a look at this. All right, so over on the Elastic Marketplace, you're going to be able to use the link down in the description below. But if you don't have that link handy, just type in Revyz. These are my good friends that have made this application possible. And you're looking for this new one. This is called the Revyz Configuration Manager for Jira. As you can see, it is completely new. It just launched on October 2nd. So totally new application. And I'm telling you, this has been a long time coming. This functionality, what the use case that this application solves has been something that I've just been struggling for years as an administrator, and I'm just glad that somebody is finally doing something about it. And I'm telling you, I'm empathizing with every single Jira admin that has ever had to do this change from sandbox to production. This is worth it, okay? This is gonna be worth it. And again, I wanna remind you that if you click, let me see if they show it here. Yes, they do. If you click on the promotion, right, install by February 29, 2024, and you're gonna pay 10 cents per user per month until September 30th of 2024. So this is a very basically a year-long promo where you're gonna pay basically next to nothing. So make sure you use the link down in the description down below. I have codes as well to help you save even more. So check it out. Make sure you get this going, because trust me, I've reviewed a lot of plugins, but this is the one that you are not going to want to skip out on. You want to give this plugin a try, and also go leave them a review. They're brand new. Leave them a review. Give them a 4-star review if you really enjoy it. I think you're really going to enjoy it after you use it. And so enough promotion here. Let me actually show you what's going on, right? So what you're going to want to do is you're obviously going to have an add button here. You're going to click it in your production. Then you're going to go over to your sandbox and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to set them both up. Once they're both set up, you are going to get this menu over here on the left, and they're going to be present in both your production and sandbox environments. As you can see, this is my production that says subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And this is my sandbox that doesn't say anything. So once you get them both configured, you're gonna have a welcome screen that's gonna ask you to basically set up your backups, because not only is this a configuration restorer of sorts, this is also a backup solution. It actually does quite a few things. We're only going to be focusing on the restoration portion though, but I do encourage you to check out this entire plugin and all the different capabilities that it does. And also drop a like and leave some comments so that I know. We are going to be dropping more videos on this, but let us know what part of the app interests you, and we'll make more videos for you so that you fall in love with this application as much as I have in a very, very short period of time. So once you have it set up, make sure you have a backup. You're going to want to run a backup of your source website, right? So this is going to be like your sandbox. You're going to want to make sure you have it backed up, because as you can see here, backups are usually scheduled for Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but you do have the ability to hit the backup button now to grab the latest backup. And we're going to actually do this in the video because we're going to make a couple of changes just to show you what happens. We'll take a backup and then we're going to go do the actual migration over to production. So once you have that backup set up, you're going to basically go and do the same thing over in production. So you go to the settings. In production, you'll hit that backup. Again, not really necessary to back up production, but I always like to say, always back up your stuff just in case, especially when you're gonna do a big change like this, because you just never know when you're gonna need that CYA. Once you have that set up, you now need to connect your sites. And you do that by coming back to the settings again, and you're gonna go to cross-site connections, and you're gonna click on add connection. You're gonna give it a name. You're gonna put in the URL of maybe your production, right? So this is always a destination. So I recommend you do this. And this is, again, these tips that you need to know as you get started, because the documentation might not cover it as well. Their videos might not cover it as well. But here, watching it with me, you're gonna get all the details you need, right? And so what you need to do in this page is give it a name and then put your destination's Atlassian site URL. So you'll go grab this from over here. You'll grab that text, you'll copy, come over here, paste that in there. But you're just gonna basically put this, just the name, nothing else. Read the instructions, folks. No data lessons on it, it's already taken care of for you. No HTTPS, it's already taken care of for you. You just need that little small section of your site's URL. You'll give it a name, and then you're gonna generate a token. And that token, while I will not show it on screen, is basically just an API token. You just copy that token. That's all you gotta do here is literally just copy it. Don't do anything else. And then you're gonna go to production, and you're gonna click on a similar thing. You're gonna click on that cross-site connection again, but this time we're not gonna click add connection. No. We're gonna click on activate connection, and you'll notice that you're gonna be given the option to just simply paste that API token. So this is where we're gonna paste that token. Once we do that, then your screen is gonna look like this, where you now have a connection to your sandbox. And so you can see I just called it production Jira. And this is now a destination site is coming in from my sandbox, right? So these are all basically now linked together, and this is going to play a critical role when we actually go do the migration. But that's the setup that you need to make sure you get done before you get started with any of this, because without it, you're not going to have the most pleasant time. And so make sure you are establishing this connection beforehand so that the rest of the steps are just going to go baby butter smooth. So now that you have that configured, let's actually show you what this plugin is all about, right? What is this use case that we're trying to solve, and what is this magical revolutionary thing that is going to make every Jira admin super, super excited? Well, let's go to this, right? So in a typical sandbox environment, we are going to test things out, right? We're just going to play around with things. We're going to create a brand new project. We're going to call it a new project to restore. Again, not very creative with my namings. You all know this by now. I have 500 videos out here. You all know I'm not very creative. You let that run for a second here. We're going to skip all this, right? And so we have a new project. And usually in a new project, you're going to change the workflows. You're going to add some custom fields. You're going to add some configuration fields, right? You're going to just do a bunch of different changes to your projects. I'm going to save you the details because this is not a video for how to do all those things. But let's just assume that at this point, we've made a new project and we've made weeks and weeks of fine tuning, right? And after some time, we get to the point where we're like, okay, we got approval. We're ready to take this from our sandbox and move it on over to production. Let's get back to this, right? So once you have your changes, once you've done all your changes over here, we're just going to want to go back into our settings over here and back into our app so that we can get to our menu. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to run a backup, okay? So in case your backup hasn't already run, all you got to do is click on backup configuration, click on on-demand backup, hit that backup now, and this backup is going to run. Now this does take a couple seconds here to run. Once that backup has run, then all you're going to need to do is select that backup from the dropdown that we're going to see in a few seconds, and then the rest of this thing is going to be really, really easy. So after a few minutes, you can actually click on that job ID, and you'll be able to see check marks and any conflicts that may arise so that you can essentially check and see when your backup is complete. But the one thing is you're going to want to take note of this end time. And back on the jobs page over here, I'm still within the backups configuration, but back on this jobs page over here, you're going to be able to see again that timestamp. We want to take note of that timestamp as it's going to play a critical role in the next step. So once your backup is complete, and again, you don't need to necessarily run the backup manually. It is very much that just by serendipity or just the luck of time that your backup ran last night and you're ready to do it today and you haven't made any changes. But again, I'm always on the cautious side of just run the backup, right? It's no big deal. You're going to be able to just have that peace of mind that you have the latest. So once you have that backup ready to go, we're going to click on this clone configuration button over here, and then we're going to click on configurations clone. From here, the fun begins. And so you're going to go and pick that snapshot. So as you can see, we have a couple of different snapshots. So once we select the time, click next, and then you're going to pick your destination site. You're going to want to click on that drop down. And it is possible for you to kind of like loop on yourself. You don't want to do that. You want to go over to the actual destination. But for whatever reason, if you wanted to restore your current sandbox, then you're going to be able to come back to a backup. So that functionality is there. Different use case. We'll talk about that in a future video. But for now, we want to then now move this restoration over to production. So we're going to hit compare snapshot. And this is going to do a really cool analysis. So this is going to basically show us, hey, here's the source, the sandbox with the snapshot. We're going to this destination site whose snapshot is from this other date and time. And what's really important is we're going to be able to see all the things that are going to be present in one but not in the other. So as I start expanding like my fields here, you're going to notice that I have a field that I created earlier. I didn't show it on screen, but I made a custard field. Now this is just for Stu, in case Stu is watching. I made a custard field, and you'll notice that it's present in the snapshot for my source, the sandbox, but it's not present in the destination, right? And so this is just going to basically tell us like, hey, these items are going to be pushed over, that they don't exist. And this is really, really good news, folks. This means you don't have to go to production and recreate these fields. This thing is going to do it for us. Another cool thing that this does is it will show you if there's modifications. So as you can see, this acceptance criteria field, it does exist, but it's been modified. And so we can actually click on this diff view, and it's going to show us what the differences are. And so in this particular case, the description has changed. So the description over here has a description, but there isn't a description over here. If you want to make sure you bring it over, you can click that checkbox. But if you don't want it, then you can just deselect it, and maybe we just pick what we do want, which is going to be this custard field. Now, on that similar note, we can take a look at like issue type schemes, right? And we can take a look at issue types, and we can basically go down and just cherry pick the things that we do want. And so we know that we made a new status, we know that we made a new project. And so all we need to go back is remember our NPTPR, and we just want to bring all these things over, right? So we just need to go find everything that belongs to NTPR and bring those items over. And it makes it really, really easy for you to kind of just pick what you want, right? You're just going to pick a couple of things here, whatever makes sense. You don't want to bring in the wrong things, but you definitely want to just bring in over the configurations that are new for that project, right? And you would have spent a lot of time looking at these screens and fields and all that other good stuff. So again, you're gonna wanna pick whatever makes sense for you. I'm just gonna bring in a couple of things just to kind of show you and demonstrate to you how this works. And so we're gonna bring in over those screens and that screen scheme. And so that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna bring these two screens over. And once I have at least my screen schemes, and that custom field that I made, I'm ready to now review my dependencies. Again, you're gonna wanna like run these diffs that are gonna show you the differences between not having something to now having something, right? So that you're gonna be able to see everything that's gonna be changing here. So it's really, really cool, really, really great view. But once you've, again, crossed your T's and dotted your I's there, you picked all the stuff that you do want, you click on that review dependencies, and you'll be able to see these dependencies here. So it's just gonna give you, again, a little bit more extra data of what these dependencies are. Everything looks good here. This is essentially what we're bringing over. And you're gonna click on review, and then you're gonna click on clone. And to proceed, you're just going to type in your site name. And so let's do that. Ape Tech Engineering, and that's it. Sandbox 346. And once you type in the name, I guess this is just for you to make sure that you are willingly and knowingly doing this. You will hit that button. And so this job's going to start. You're going to be able to click on that job ID. And again, you're going to be able to see as this thing progresses. So I'm not going to bore you with those details of watching paint dry, but we are going to basically let this job run. It's going to take a few minutes to run. And so after a bit of time, we're going to go over to production and see what happens. So while this thing is running, one of the cool things that I just noticed that I thought I want to call out is you do have the ability to click on this little cloud, and this is going to download a CSV of the objects that basically were cloned. So you can download that to review. Or as these items are being checked off green, you can actually click into these and it will take you over to production. Notice how my URL has changed. And then you're going to be able to find, right? So I should be able to type in that NTPR, whatever it was, NTPR. I think that's what it was called. Let me double check the name of this project. Yeah, NPTR. See, my Dory in me. NPTR, and you can see that I am in production, right? I am in my non-sandbox environment here, and these items have made it over. So you don't have to necessarily wait for the whole thing to finish. You can be, as they're being checked off, just simply click into them and you're going to be redirected over to your production environment or your destination environment, and you'll be able to see that information. So you can always click on the refresh here. As you can see, this job is done. The only thing I got was a partial success because of the custom field. We'll have to review the logs on that a little bit later to figure out what happened there. But I suspect that my custom field, the one that I brought in, the custard, let's see if it's in there, right? Because that's really the one that we need. And see if it actually came through. And as you can see, it did come through. So the only thing I had a little trouble with was that acceptance criteria, but we're not going to worry about that because that really wasn't in scope. I really wanted to bring this custard field over here, and this custard field now exists. It is in my production environment. And as you saw earlier, my screens are in here. And so pretty much all the configurations and all the settings that I need to successfully now do my changes in production are ready to go. Now that I've shown you how awesome it is to be able to cherry pick the items that you want, let me show you how to clone the entire project. Now this is going to take all the configurations that are associated with that project and just be able to bring everything over to your destination site. So check this out. Similar to the cherry picking section, we're gonna pick our snapshots. We're gonna pick the latest, we're gonna click next. We're gonna go over to our production environment here, click on show projects. And this is going to then give us a list of all the projects that we have. Now, all we need to do is go down and find that project that we made earlier, this NPTR right here. And as you can see, we have the name, the key, whatever you want here. You're going to type in a username. Maybe I just put my name in here, see what happens. There's not a whole lot of people in my environment. It's just me. And once you have that, you're going to review your dependencies. This is going to show you basically what users you selected, the project, and everything that entails for that project, along with all the dependencies, right? So this is going to bring in those issue type schemes, the screen schemes, the screens, the workflows, pretty much anything and everything that is associated, including the boards. And so this right here, folks, this is my absolute favorite feature, because instead of cherry picking, which you absolutely can do in case you just want to bring certain things, but I have a funny feeling that you're most likely just going to want to pick the project that you just spent so much effort fine tuning and just copy that on over. So all you got to do is, once you have the right project, you'll click on view summary and then you click on clone, type in this name just to make sure that this is indeed what you want to do. 346, click clone, and it's off to the races. Again, we're going to be able to click into the job ID. We'll be able to see as all this stuff is being updated. So I'm not going to bore you with all those details, but this right here is a really, really cool feature. Hope that you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed creating it. And again, go check out the links down below, as they are running that very, very special introductory price offer right now. And you are not going to want to miss out on that. So go lock in that price right now before they go up. And yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And make sure you give this video a thumbs up, and make sure you share this video with all your Jira admins that you know have suffered through this very same process. It is a very painful thing to do manually. As I said, I literally just spent 13 hours doing this, and I wish I would have had this plugin just a week ago, because it would have saved me so much time. Now just calculate the salary here, folks. 13 hours times 4 people that I had working with me. That's a lot of money. That plugin is not going to cost you that amount of money. So just right there, it's worth its weight in gold. So go try it out. Check out the link down below. And if you made it this far, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Special thank you to Revyz for making this video possible. And we'll see you in the next one.
So fight